This is Michael Williams. Welcome back to 21 Steps to Start Speaking More Smoothly and Confidently. This is step number 10, technique number 5. Step number 10, technique number 5. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to become a master conversationalist. How to become a master conversationalist. That's the step, that's the technique. How to become a master conversationalist. Now, what I want to do is to basically give you just some very simple tips, if you will. These are things that you may already know, but they're very simple and they're very powerful and effective. And it will help you transfer the focus from you to the other person. Remember, now watch this. Now watch this. In the last video, we talked about what? Finding yourself a model to pattern yourself after. Why? Well, one of the things it does is it distracts you from yourself, distracts you from thinking about me and I and how I'm about to speak. It also gives you someone to model, to say, okay, how does that person breathe and how are they speaking? Let me just act like I'm them, right? When I'm speaking, let me act like I'm them. So you're not thinking about how you're breathing, you're just acting like them. And then sooner or later you adopt and adapt their way of speaking, and it becomes yours, and then you develop your own way. Okay, so that's one way to distract ourselves. Another way is to think about the other party, to think about the other person that you're talking to. Okay, so in this step, step number 10, technique number 5, we're looking at how to become a master conversationalist, which helps us focus on the other person, distracts us from ourselves. We focus on the other person. Some very simple tips. The first one is so simple, but it's so powerful. And it is to what? Smile. Believe it or not, when you smile, whether you're making a presentation or a regular conversation, when you smile, you relax yourself and you relax the other person. When you have an interview, walk in, smile, shake their hand. Right? Smile as much as possible. Now, don't look like you're crazy, smiling the whole time. So what's wrong with this person? But smile, because it's going to relax you, and it's also going to help you to feel more confident, and it's going to present an image to the other person that you're more confident. When you walk in and you smile, as opposed to being afraid, when you smile, they're going to say, this person's confident, and they're pleasant, right? Smile. So when you're conversing with someone, smile. It relaxes everyone. Second tip is make eye contact. Don't look over here when you're talking to that person there, right? How would you like if I was looking over here, but I'm talking to you through the video there? You'd be like, where is he looking? I wish I could get inside that video and see where he's looking. So when you're talking to someone, make eye contact. Now, once again, you don't want to look crazy and just stare at them like this smiling. But you do want to make eye contact. And certainly you're going to need to look around and you can look at different things. But when you make eye contact, you're letting that person know that you care about them, that you're concerned about what they're saying. Have you ever talked to someone and they were looking all around and you just felt like you were talking to the air? Same thing. Right. So we're talking about becoming a master conversationalist. Smile and make eye contact and try to maintain, pretty steady eye contact. Third thing is be sincerely interested in what the other person is saying, right? This is a challenge for many of us because a lot of times we're thinking about what we want to say, or we're thinking about something that pertains to us. So we have to try to be sincerely interested in what that person's saying, okay? Be sincerely interested in what that person's saying. One of the ways we can do this is this next tip, and that is to ask them open-ended questions. So one of the ways we can demonstrate that we're sincerely interested in what they're saying is to ask them questions about what they just said. So that's pretty interesting. Tell me more about that. Or, well, why do you think that? That's pretty interesting. Oh, wow, I really like the way that sounds. How did you come up with that? So you ask them open-ended questions so that they can kind of expound and share with you as much as they want. Certainly, you want to jump in and share some things and talk about some things, but When you ask them questions, and you ask them open-ended questions, then you're letting them know that you're listening and that you really are interested in what they're saying. Wait 3 to 5 seconds before you respond. Sure, we don't all do this. I know I don't always do it. But try to wait or pause a little bit after that person has said something to think about it. Then maybe ask them a question or make a statement yourself. When you pause, you're letting the person know that you heard what they said, you're thinking about it, and then you respond. Okay? So pause 3 to 5 seconds before responding. Nod. When someone's talking, nod. You don't want to just sit there like that, right? You want to, make some facial expressions, nod, letting them know, sometimes even lean forward, and not too far, but you want to lean forward to let them know that you're listening and that you're interested. Now, some people can nod, but they're thinking about something else. So you want to nod and really be listening to what they're saying. Be agreeable. Now, this goes beyond a little bit just conversations, but some people, they just will disagree with everything you say. Like you say something and they'll say, well, yeah, that's true sometimes, but that's not really true. Or they'll go, no, I don't agree with that. That's not true. I'm not saying you have to agree with everything, but there's ways you can disagree without saying, no, that's not right, or I don't agree. I'm not saying that you should never say I don't agree. I'm just saying there's a time and place for that. And in everyday regular conversation, even in meetings, there's sometimes better ways to say, I don't agree. You can say, well, what if someone were to say this? How would you respond? Okay. Or, I agree with this part of what you said, but I see this part a little differently. Okay, so that's a way for me to say, here's something that I agree with, but what about this? Or, I can see why you would say that, but what about this? Okay, so you're saying, okay, I can maybe see why you would say that, but what about this part? Or what about this perspective? So there's a lot of different ways that you can disagree even without saying, I disagree, or no, you're wrong. When you do that, you're putting the person on the defense, and then you can start arguments, which is not really a good conversation to be in, right? Not a good way to be a master conversationalist. So try to be more agreeable with the person in as much as you can. That will help your conversation flow. What else? Here's something that I already mentioned, which is basically don't disagree unless you absolutely have to, and then figure out ways to do it. So be more agreeable. Don't disagree unless you absolutely have to. Remember, some people are in the habit of disagreeing, so their conversations don't go real well. Generally, and this is the last tip, generally try to create an environment where the person feels good about themselves. All right? So you want to be a master conversationalist. You want to feel more confident about yourself. You want your esteem to be high. One of the ways you do that is to help other people feel good about themselves and increase their confidence and their self-esteem. So whatever it is that you give out to other people, even if they don't give it back right then, or if they don't give it back at all, you'll get it back from other people. That's not just something I read, but I actually live it. I mean, I'm surrounded by people who help me through their comments or the things that they do or say feel more confident or feel better about who I am and what I'm doing. Why? Because I do the same thing. Okay, so you want to try to create an environment. You want to be thinking when you're talking to people, when you're interacting with them, how can I make them feel more confident and better about themselves? Now granted, we can't make anyone feel anything, but I'm using that as a way of expressing this idea. What can you do to help create an environment where people, when they leave you, they go, you know what, I really feel good about being around that person, right? You don't want to be around people around which you feel bad, right? Around whom you feel bad about yourself. When you leave them, you feel bad. You don't want to be around people like that. The same thing. People don't want to be around you if when they leave you, they feel bad. So create an environment where they feel good. All right, so let's just review. Smile, make eye contact, be sincerely interested in what they have to say, ask open-ended questions, right? Wait 3 to 5 seconds before you respond. Nod, Be agreeable. Don't disagree unless you have to, and try to create an environment where people feel good about themselves. These are just tips, but they work, and it'll help you become a better conversationalist, and it'll help you focus on the other person and not yourself. Okay? And you can do this whether you're one-on-one or in a workshop environment. I do retreats and workshops all the time, and I use all of these techniques, and they work. Now, we just looked at step 10, technique number 5. In the next video, we're going to look at step 11, technique number 6. This is Michael Williams. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I hope this has been a blessing to you, and I'll see you in the next video.